Good afternoon, everyone. It's right after 12, really. I mean, that's afternoon, right? I mean, technically it is. It still feels like kind of morning-y to me. Anyway, we are here in the wrecked kingdom, still progressing through ore. Look at how cool that background looks there. We're actually at the lights waypoint, which is kind of the place where you come to find Malcor in the water and whatnot. But Bract's got something much more important on his mind. We're anticipating a fleet of risen ships to crash on the shores here or be duped in some way by our reconfigured lighthouse. So you can see here very, very brief, concise summaries of these story instances here. It was madcap and a bit arachnophobic, but our motley crew sabotaged the Orion lighthouse. When the dead ships follow the guidance of Beacon Torch, they'll find themselves run aground. So we got a cool cast and selection of characters with here. There's going to be kind of like an arena fighter mission we're actually going to now on Conscript the dead ships. And in fact, let's change our skills up because we haven't done that for a while. In fact, a long while. Let's put the flamethrower on. Go back into our builds. And if you remember for firearms, there is the... Oh, we've had Juggernaut on this whole time? And we've just not been using flamethrower? Oh my god. All right, cool. So we'll run flamethrower here. And... yeah, I'll just leave it with that. All right, conscript the dead ships. In we go. Love the colors on this piece of concept art. Very, very rarely appreciated concept art there. Love that. All right, okay, so cool. Let's move. And by rarely, I mean you don't really see people talking about it much. Let's move forward and see what we've got.
You make the call. I'll follow your lead.
Okay, cool, thank you. I have to, like, jump up onto this, do I? I thought for a second that we had to jump over some water to get to the pier. That would have been kind of a nice touch. Before I speak to her and progress, I kind of want to see these guys. Now, if you look out in the background, you will see that there is an Orion Arc out there hanging on the horizon. Look how huge that thing is. And, of course, we got a little rowboat here, which I presume we're going to use to sail over. It's a really good-sized rowboat as well. I proper feel like an Asura in this, assuming this is a normal-sized boat. Yeah, hello, everybody. So what we got? Well, there's a new guy here. This is Fel Vardaman. I'm sure that name must mean something. He's one of the very rare old people-looking characters here, or he looks as old as you can kind of make him. He's rolling his eyes as he speaks. So this guy's a really weird character in that he basically doesn't appear anywhere except in this little story arc. And curiously, you know how as we play through, various characters have been unlocking at our home instance. We haven't really gone home to check just yet, but you know, as we've gone through, various people have survived and gone back to hang out with us. Well, this guy is an NPC like that, but instead of unlocking in our home instance, he's gonna go back to unlock permanently at Fort Trinity at Care of All. Which, again, when we first visited Caraval, I told you guys it was like a new home instance away from our home. You know, you've got, like, the domestic home instance, and then you've got, like, your order home instance that could have been updated and reflecting, and then you've got the Fort Trinity one. Well, yeah, he'll go back there, even though he has very little to say or do in the story, really. He says, Commander, Crusader Jane is waiting to brief you before we get underway. Well, thanks very much. Over here, we've got another character. This is Mary Sunbower. Same situation, and we're actually finding that these guys know one another. Hi, Commander. You should talk to my husband, Fel, when you get the chance. Right, well, we just spoke to him, and he sent us back to Crusader. We got Zot and Ellie with us, as always. You'll have your appendages occupied, Commander. I'll keep an eye on Ellie. She's predisposed to nautical nausea, you see. Oh, right, so she gets C6, right? That's not a very good sign. I'm fine. I just used to surrogates. With them, you just appear at your destination. Here, you go up, you go down, then there's side to side. Oh, I think I'm going to output. This, okay, needs to be written more by the writers, that this is the Asuran phrase for about to vomit. I think I'm about to output. That's hilarious. Hang in there. It's a very weird thought that, you know, someone can be so accustomed to a surrogate travel, but conventional travel such as this that sustained various civilizations for thousands of years on Tyria has become alien to her. Anyway, hey, Ella Jane. Our false lighthouse signal worked perfect. Can we see it off in the distance? That would be so cool. I guess it's a little bit too far away. It worked perfectly. You should have seen those dead ships pile up in the shallows. Anyway, the team's assembled. So, are you ready for the briefing? Absolutely. Well, now that the ships are helpless, we board them and eliminate the crews. Then, the engineers, Sunbower, Ellie, and Zot fix them up so we can sail them without alerting the rest of Zytan's fleet. My god, okay. We sail along the Orion coast. We surprise the enemy beachhead and eliminate the Orion commanders with shore bombardment. Fel and Mary will row you out to the enemy ships. Right, so we get a lot's going to happen here. We're going to get the ships and then actually break the front lines of the Orion pushback here near Malcor's Leap. Okay, got it. That's a lot to take in. So she salutes us.
May
It
the
starts
gods
walking over.
protect you.
We'll be ready after you talk to the captain. Okay, sure. Now everyone's here. So I think we got the plan. You ready, dude? The captain of this rowboat, I see.
Commander on deck! Glad to meet you. I'm Captain Fel Vardaman.
Nice to meet you, Phil. Are you part of the squad?
My wife and I sail a clipper out of Lion's Arch. We were brought in by the Pact to handle a special mission, piloting bone ships. Nobody said the dang things already had a crew.
They might be crude now, but that's what my squad's here to do. Take out the Risen and deliver the ships. The question is, can you sail them?
Now look here, girlie. I can sail a bantam in a full hurricane. I can sail anything. Stick a toothpick on a turtle and I'll sail it to Cantha before dawn.
I hope you're right. Ellie, Zot, are you ready to help commandeer these vessels?
Operating at 100% efficiency, Crusader. Ignore the tinge of green around Ellie's ears. I assure you, Asura never gets seasick.
She blatantly is seasick. They avoided the term. Their toothpick on a turtle is hilarious because considering in Cantha we know they do ride turtles. So yeah, he's basically Sea Captain Farron. Look at the lighting here. This is so cool. The waters. Well, here are the ships that we're going to be assaulting that have ran aground. Here we go. We move up on our rowboat.
I envy Inkblood his shore leave. These ships are horrible.
You say shore leave, I say hydrophobia. That flummox got off lucky if you ask me.
If you two work half as well as you argue, we'd have these ships fixed already.
I like how Sunboa is popping in there. So Ellie summons a hologram. Check this out. Yeah, you'll notice Scholar Inkblood is not actually around here. We needed his expertise with the lighthouse and whatnot, but I guess not necessarily too much anymore. So that's a thing. And we were saying his name completely wrong. Fel Vardaman. That's such like a Scandinavian sounding word to me.
Hello there.
Reminds me of the game Magicka in a big way. Well, you have me on board for the whole expedition. Better let Crusader Jane know we're ready. Well, we are. What are we hanging around here for? I'm ready to kick some Orients to the miss. I'll just let the Crusader know.
My crew is on the verge of a breakthrough.
Oh, the rocking. My stomach doesn't like it. My head doesn't like it. If it keeps up, your shoes won't like it because I'm about to output all over them again. All right, think about fighting instead, please. It'd be cool if the boat actually rocked a bit, you know, animation-wise, and we had a little bit of tilt left and right on the camera. Okay, ready and able, Commander. We're moving out. Yeah, sure, Zor. I just wanted to make sure we're all clear. Gangplank secured, Commander. Is everyone ready to proceed? All right, are you sure there are Orions here? These ships look empty. Right, yeah, you guys might have been wondering about that. Why are we just able to casually talk here? Well, the ships seem empty. The crew's definitely here, waiting for us to board so they can leap out and attack. Seen that trick before. I love this combination of, like, stealth and ships that they do so often, it seems. I enjoy the idea that the ships are all magically sailed and there's not actually like manpower or risen, you know, labor going into the maneuvering of the ships, so they can just sort of amble about below decks and just stacked in piles of corpses that will rise again later or something. All right, got it. Give me another moment to prepare. What was this other thing I say? Well, what will we find on these ships? It could be anything. The Orient fleet is built to harry all of the ships in the sea. They're crewed by the dead they scoop up and reanimate with Zaitan's power. Look at that, they scoop them out of the waters. All right, got it. We're all good to go. Acknowledged. Fall in, everyone. Stay close and stay sharp. So when we begin this, guys, what you want to do is run off of this gangplank pretty quick and get onto the ship as established as you can. Otherwise, you can tend to get swarmed in like these small areas and get nuked pretty hard. Luckily, we've got a flamethrower to help counter that. But yeah, here we go. So stay close. Let's get in there. Right behind you. I've got your back, she says. So we move up.
Everything.
And as you see, a ton of Risen do appear. They're supposed to appear like menacingly on different areas of the ship, but I think they all just kind of spawned on top of one another there, which is not really the idea. Or maybe they just teleported, actually.
More bad guys incoming from the lower part of the ship.
She doesn't even know what the name of a lower part of a ship is. I like this idea of an Asura who's blatantly very ignorant about a lot of things. Oh, that was good. We just got to fry them all in the line. Love it. Okay. Ellie, you doing good?
How may I assist you?
Right behind you, Commander. Me and my hologram, rather. We can't speak to the hologram.
I don't have time for this.
Really, Zol? It seems we're pretty clear. Don't worry about LEC sickness. We're Asura. We always strive for professionalism. Today will be no different. Do Asura always strive for professionalism? I guess they kind of do.
Excelsior.
So here, you'll notice that a pirate did get on our ship. Now, this is a beautiful demonstration of the mechanics here. If you're quite low level or poorly geared or whatever at this point in the game, you can find this mission kind of hard. One thing you can do, and your allies will start to die. One thing you can do is the next phase won't ever trigger until everything of the previous wave is dead. So, you can leave one alive and spend this time to revive your friends and keep yourself safe. Then kill the last one at your leisure, which is kind of what we're doing here. He's regenerating because he can't really hit us very easily. But there we go.
Foolish mortal creatures, get off my ship!
So, check it out. And it ends with the boss fight here. This is Risen Captain Itnaya? Itnaya is an interesting word. I don't know whether that's necessarily Orion sounding or what. They could have scooped up these bodies and these people from anywhere, though, all around the seas around Tyria, right? And have only just come back to Ore. And don't forget, this is the Navy. These are like the military bodies and stuff. This isn't the same as the ship we sunk before of the Corpse Arc fleet, right? Which was more about getting new fuel for the armies. Or other ships that are bringing magic back. This is more about actually what Risen Zaitan assaults with. A bit like what we saw on the horizon at Clore Island.
1 down, 3 to go. These Risen don't make it easy, do they, Mary, my dove?
Would we want it to be easy, Fel, my love? Let them come. We'll keel-haul them with their own lines.
That's my rowdy girl. Crusader Jane, I think we're ready for the next gangplank.
Ooh, so here, if we watch Jane, you watch very closely. She will bend down, she will hammer away, and it should actually build, and this is, there you go, a gangplank. So this is really special, okay? What you actually see the devs are doing mechanically here is manipulating the environment quite decidedly, in a way you don't really see elsewhere very often. You know, they'll have doors that open and close and walls that break and don't break that would be there in the open world instead. But, like, these entire boats we're standing on, these don't exist in the open world. They've actually spawned and created this unique for this personal story instance. And this gangway is a dynamic object that is opened in the middle of the instance, which is really cool. We've seen so much of the story at this point, guys, and you know they just don't do this kind of thing very much in the core story. So, again, it's another reason why I think these are just so high quality, this act here.
Nice to see you.
These two are sappy as all hell. Right behind you, don't worry about me. I don't think they've updated or anything.
You could show me some moves.
Fel and I. So, wait, Fel and Mary, is that actually a reference to something? Anyway, they're sappy. Obviously, we got a couple here, and we got a couple to be over here. And this is the one I'm more interested in. Anyway, okay, so...
Keep Ascalon in your heart.
Now that the gangplank's there, we can throw some elixirs down, get our incendiary ammo up, run on in, bounce some burning with our pistol, and get on as hard as we can and try and roast them. I'm going to run right back here. Oh, God. This one's a char ship. Yeah, so each ship, by the way, is themed with different kinds of corpses. So the one we just dealt with, I think were humans, right? This one, oh, maybe they were Norn, but I'm pretty sure they were humans. These are all char. This is a char vessel filled with undead char. Every single one of them. Look at it. Oh, it's brilliant. And so you kind of get this arena-style idea. They're really hurting us as well. The char are pretty vicious. You get this really cool arena-style idea where each one's a different flavor of fighting because there's so many varieties of Risen in the game. You'll notice that their weapons here, by the way, they have Orion weapons. I mistakenly said the other episode that Pearl stuff was like Orion themed. I actually think Pearl stuff is more Quaggan themed. Some of you guys mentioned that in the comments, and I think you're right. Why Quaggan gear was like the default level 80 stuff, I don't know. Maybe it was supposed to be like an ironic thing from the devs or what. Maybe they appreciated that the first gear you get at endgame is kind of in a way supposed to be a bit crappy and weird.
Look toward the rear of the ship.
Because most people will be trying to like go beyond that to flashier skins anyway, so maybe that was the idea. Anyway, she just ran onto the other boat and then came back. Good job there. We got another wave of char. I really like the idea that these char are, you know, they're a warband or multiple warbands that have just been captured together and fell together. You know, not even necessarily in recent history. Zaitan's been prowling these waters for a long time. You know, 100 years old now.
Ready for the next one.
Pathetic flesh and blood, and Zaitan will consume you.
So, we got Captain Redeye here. Let's cleave these down as hard as we can and not stand in all of their icky goop. What I'm going to try and do is use the flamethrower skill 3 to push them together like that, right, with our air blast. And then we can roast them all a little bit more in unison, keeping the elixirs on our allies. You see how Ellie and her hologram are getting low? This is the thing. If people start dying now, what you want to do is probably res at this point. But yeah, just keep roasting them down. Up to 10,000 damage from that flamethrower there. Yeah!
I don't have time for it. Unusual ocular glands on these creatures. I've never seen lobules quite like these.
With due respect, Agent, I don't care what they see. I just care that they're dead.
Still, they could see the beacons. No matter. Crusader Jane, the gangplank, if you please.
You are Whispers, Zot, not Priory, alright? You don't have to worry about how they work. So anyway, next gangplank, we get the flashy ass animation.
Watch it! They're crawling up the outer hull.
Oh god, really? Wait. Oh, that's such a cool idea as well. They're actually coming out from the door here. But the idea of them crawling around the outside, very Pirates of the Caribbean-y, right, guys? So what do we got here? Well, they're gladiators. Look. So, Lion's Arch gladiators, having fought in the arena, perhaps. And look, they're a combination of several different races. We got an Asura, we got a Norn, we got a human, and we've got a Char. It's like Destiny's Edge, an alternate version, except they have fallen. And who will their boss be? So, no time like the present. Let's charge along. Drink our Elixir X.
Enemies on deck. Cut them down.
Yeah. How'd you like a tornado on deck? Not very much, I hope. So we could just keep the CCs on them as much as possible. Yeah. I'm going to maintain it as long as I can as well. I'm scared to use the 5 because we might go in the water. So I'm not going to use the dust charge, but we will hold back. There we go. Now we can heal up. Let's throw some mowers on them as well. Turn them all into mowers and blow them up while we can. Nice. Doesn't last very long, unfortunately. Oh, God. Ow. Actually kind of hurts. So, yeah, let's cleave them down. I like the idea that they're getting more and more tough as well. The first boat was, you know, they weren't too challenging necessarily, just random humans. But here, this is what happens when you take some Lion's Arch, or just any gladiators. To be honest, they don't have to be from Lion's Arch. They could be from any gladiatorial pit. It's just that's the main one that the game talks about all the time, right? I like the idea that, you know, they're a bit stronger because what happens when you take warriors in life and turn them into Risen? Maybe that's how we get these bosses. With really cool specific names, by the way. One of them will be story relevant. You're going to see in a second. But all the other ones, like Redeye and that first guy, they sound like they should be characters from books and things, don't they? But they're actually not. As far as I know, there is no trivia about Redeye or some of these other random faces we sort of cleave through as they are risen. Well, all save for one, who I think is about to climb out from under there.
Careful! That lot looks like they're commanding magic.
Kill everything.
So we've got more gladiators, and with them... Oh, I guess there is no boss right now. Okay, hold on. Let's just keep cleaving through, burn them up. Again, push them back together. Now, again, if you're really struggling on this, there is a lot of the boat you can move around on, for what it's worth. You can come up here, you can go around the balcony here, and you can, like, lure the Risen into weird places. I particularly like coming up here, because when they come up, you can jump back down, and then they have to run all the way back around again. Do you see how they're, like, messing around up there? And that gives you time to, like, re-sustain and then hit them while they're just moving, because mobs can't jump and you can. So you can always use that to your advantage.
One of you seems familiar. Still, you die on sick.
So here it is, Captain Yedge. Now, that's not a name we recognize, but he seems to recognize one of us. Who that could be? Well, let's pull back again, push the Char back towards them. The human's down. He's down. Just the one Asura left now, so an undead Asura. Well, we do have a lot of Asura with us. So who does he recognize? If not us, Zot, maybe? Ellie? Let's keep him blind. He's definitely pretty tanky, eh? You never think of Asura as being tanky, but this guy's a warrior.
I don't have time for this.
Ellie? She looks a bit upset.
Ellie, get a move on. Ellie? Ellie, are you all right?
I knew this one. His name was Yej. He left Radasung to be a gladiator.
There, dear girl. Don't give up now. Whatever would your imaginary holographic friends do without you?
Thank you, Zadi. Crusader Eiley, put out the last gangplank. I owe those Risen a punch in their guts.
All right, so here you'll see, by the way, Ellie pronounces her name differently to other people have. So if anyone's been whining about my pronunciation of her name, it's indistinct. I like the thought that Crusader Ellie knows, but she's just not saying. Oh my god. But yeah, we got Eiley and Ellie. I guess that can make sense why it's a bit confusing. But yeah, look, she keeps running back and forward from the body. The body which is coded to not despawn, by the way. All these just nice little details. All right, one more gangplank and the final dead ship of Risen. Let's move on. Sad moment there. We can also go under the ships. Here, I'll just quickly show you. Oh, actually, they do have underneaths. Just maybe we can't on all of them.
Hey, look, Fel. Someone left an arm lying around.
It's probably a trick. Get an axe.
It looks like it fell from Balthazar's hounds. They're in the rigging. Look up.
Oh, look at how cool this is. And they drop down. You see the animation as they come in? They're actually dropping down. It's a shame they couldn't do the other one of them crawling around on the decks. They've clearly got... Whoever made this has got, like, real inspiration as to all the different ways you could have Risen climbing around on these undead ships. It's such a cool mission. So this last ship is... you might have expected it to be... I don't know, something really profound or, like, you know, related to the 5 races of the pack. But it's Hylic. Which, you know, story-wise might not seem too significant. I mean, it's interesting to think of Hylic on a ship. But beyond that, before they got corrupted, mechanically, Hylic are very dangerous. So, it is actually kind of a nice thing to do as the final ship of this mission. Because the player character can actually kind of get hurt quite a lot. So I've got to pull back. And I'm going to, again, mower them because the darts just hurt so much. And they can't fire their darts while they're mowers. So we can use that just for free kills here. Keep running in the sides. I'm really scared because we're quite low and we don't have a heal back right now. There is a suspicious arm. Can I pick this up and use it in combat, I wonder?
Ready for the next one.
Or do we want to... Yeah, let's try it. Okay, I'm going to pick it up. We can! We get throw putrid arm. Look at Bract holding it there. So, throw a putrid arm that explodes in a poisonous cloud. Are you ready? And the skill tooltip there, if you go back and pause, actually was saying like feet and stuff, which is some old ways that they used to measure range before they came up with the proper units of measurement they use now. The game used to describe things in terms of feet, which is what Guild Wars 1 used to do as well, actually. You can extrapolate from that to do some interesting maths on how big Tyria is compared to Earth and stuff.
We were fed to the dragon to ease its anger, but now you will be the prey.
Alright, so the final wave of Hylic here, and check this guy out. Risen Captain Koliakwi. So, what do we think? Are these Hylic that mastered sea travel and stuff and actually got on boats? Maybe they tried to escape Zaitan by going across the unending ocean, but got caught in the shores around Or. What a fantastic story. Also, the name of this guy, Koliakwi, right? Doesn't that sound like an authentic Aztec kind of thing? But I'm telling you guys, it's not a thing. If you Google the word Koliaki, right, to see if it's like some legend or something, you could drop a trivia bomb on people. All you find on Google are references to this mission in Guild Wars 2. So I think it's a word that ArenaNet made up, but it sounds awesome. I kind of, you know, if Hylic ever became playable races, and that they probably won't, because the whole point of the lesser races is to not have them be playable in terms of how they're rigged and stuff. That's a story that they tell you in the making of Guild Wars 2 book, for what it's worth. If I ever did, Koliaki, that's a cool character name. A really cool character name. Can I pick up the arm? Again, I can. Check it out. Let's throw the arm again and then, shall we? There you go. And get our flamethrower back. So, super tanky. Actually has some threatening damage attacks. Luckily, everyone's still alive, and we can keep shattering elixirs on them to give them regeneration and things. Just keep them backed into that corner, blinded. And before long, the guy should be dead. But yeah, a good boss fight. And yeah, you see how this is essentially like an arena mission where you're just going arena to arena to arena. Reminds me a lot of a Guild Wars 1 mission, the Thirsty River in the Crystal Desert.
These bone ships are saggy, rotted, and full of holes, but still seaworthy. As long as you're not planning to sail to Ilona, they'll do.
Not Ilona, just the city of Ara. Right into the Dragon's Maw. When can the ships be ready?
Depends on Eiley and Zot. I swear, they fight like Norn and argue like they're married.
You'll have all the help we can spare, Captain. Tyria itself depends on us.
We'll be as quick as we can, Commander. My word on it. When the ships are ready, we'll alert Marshal Traherne.
All right. Brilliant. Everybody's emoting. We get some good rewards here. So let's carp. I don't know. It doesn't really matter what we take here, because we have the Tome of the Rubicon, Ascended gear. that, you know, is going to be way better than any of this. But, hey, whatever. I guess I'll go Berserker just in case. And look, we get obsidian shards here. When the game first came out, these rewards weren't as they are now. So you never used to get obsidian shards like this. You had to do it at the Temple of Balthazar. But as we go further in the story, we are beginning to pick them up. And we also get a navy badge here. So we get an amulet and we get a back piece, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, let's grab that. Yeah, what a cool mission. It's got a reference to Cantha in there. It's got a reference to Ilona, the two cut-off human nations that we know nothing about and are a huge mystery at this point in the story. Like, that's so cool to see how many different things they threw in there. And, of course, they even talk about using these ships. And I like to think it's not just these 4, but maybe we had other cells capturing even more, right? Again, at Assault Ara itself. Now, funnily enough, the release trailer for Guild Wars 2 actually showed that naval assault at the very, very end of the game in, like, cinematic form. And I like to sort of reconcile that, hey, these are the ships that could have been in that trailer. Really cool. That's not the trailer that appeared in episode 1, by the way, guys. I'm talking about a different trailer that was mostly live action and very weird. And not really a very good trailer, if we're telling the truth. Anyway, so Crusader, Ellen Jane. Excellent work. I'll stand here, guard until more packed engineers arrive. Thanks for the help. So there you go. We meet 2 new characters who will be gone from the story pretty quick, but it's Fel. He doesn't even want to say anything to us. Did Ellie and Zot just disappear instantly? We had no chance to speak to them. I think that they did. Look at this, though. Check it out. Oh, my God. Mary's up here, the captain.
I'm here to learn.
Orions don't like giving up their stuff, do they? Technically, it was ours first, but, well, never mind. We got boats to fix. Okay, will you be safe until the rest of the packed engineers arrive here? Of course. Jane's an excellent guard. I trust her with the lives of every member of my family. Wow, where is your family now? Well, our daughter is a Balthazar priestess in Divinity's Reach. Ah. Our son, Ben, well, he runs around with the Order of Whispers and doesn't even use his proper last name. Proud of them both, of course. So, Bract actually knows what's going on here. We joined the Order of Whispers, okay, here. And if you remember, when we were dealing with Demi, we had 2 choices to get Demi out of Lion's Arch and away from the eyes of her father, Cordicus, right? One of them was to disguise Tybalt, but there was also another plan with a guy called Ben 10 Strikes, yeah? Ben, we met just a little bit, but he was around in the Order of Whispers, and this is Ben 10 Strikes' parents! How cool is that? So he's actually Ben Sunbower. Interesting thought. And there was another choice later on as well, where we could have enlisted Ben 10 Strikes' help to reclaim Claw Island, but instead of doing that, we enlisted Professor Gore's help, who I think ultimately did have some pretty cool stuff. But there was another mission where we could have gone and helped out Ben, and we actually would have revisited the area of Cordicus' manor for a sort of a heist-style mission there. So, yeah, really, really, really cool to see this little piece of information about Ben, who's not around right now. But don't forget, this is the Whispers plan we're doing right now, so we do get more Whispers information. How much work will the ships take? It's looking rough, but the base timbers are solid. If we strengthen the decks and the base frames, we should be good. Can you tell me more about you and Fel? Well, we used to be seagoing merchants. Okay, pirates. We settled down in Lion's Arch, but when the pact called for seasoned captains and crews, we came out of retirement. Look at that. See, they're pirates, and they've raised like a thuggy, shady son, Ben, who joined the Order of Whispers. That's hilarious. So yeah, very, very good. I think that's pretty much all the information we can get out of it. Yeah, the 3 big questions. Did everyone else, like, come to the back of the ship or something? They did. Look, here's Ellie. Oh, she looks sad over here. Oh my God, how did she even get there? All right, hey, you doing good? Look, she's come to kneel down, just like looking out over the waters. Oh, I never thought I'd be looking forward to refurbishing a bunch of malodorous boats. The quicker we're complete, the quicker we can depart. Are you okay? It seemed you knew that, certain captain. Yesh? Yeah, I knew him. It was hard seeing him like this, but at least I can bury him properly when this is over. And what Zot said still meant a lot to me. He's not so bad. What about the seasickness? It's getting better. I think the adrenaline rush from fighting cancelled out the nauseous rocking. I'd write a paper about it right now, but I'm afraid I'd blorp all over it. Blorp! Ugh, what a word. Yeah, okay, I believe you. I'll talk to you later then. That's Ellie. That must mean... Here you go. Look, there's Zot. He's hammering away down there. But how do we get to him? How did he go downstairs? Here we go. Oh, no, this isn't fully downstairs. This isn't fully the lower decks. But it's enough to get to Zot. Hey, man.
What?
Certainly an intriguing plan. I'll make certain those ships are properly seaworthy before I see you again. Thanks for talking to Ellie. It meant a lot to her. It's hard to lose someone. I used to be much more light-hearted, but then I lost... Never mind. The point is, I know it can hurt, but also that you can't let it stop you. we have to keep going. So Zot here actually hints at a backstory we never really get the details on whatsoever. Who it was that he lost in the past, we don't know. But there you go. Everyone's known some loss here in this conflict, especially as we've got so far late. Here you go. Here's the stairway down. And on any of the ships we could have done this, by the way. Would have been interesting if the devs had added a bit of content in the lower decks of a ship. But don't hold your breath too long on that, because that's about exactly what we're going to experience in the third and final instance of this act. Let's go deal with it. I love this building up here in the background. It feels like almost something you'd see in modern day Earth, right? Like some kind of like steel type rigging and antenna up in the sky. But of course it's nothing of the sort. It's just like magically constructed. It's a weird thought of all. But yeah, so the next instance will actually take Bract fully into the Cursed Shore. As we go there now, I figure, hey, let's talk a bit about the bomb kit, because you haven't seen much of it. And it was a long time ago we first unlocked it. So for the next instance, let's hold these bombs and place them down. Remember, that gives us on our tool belt the big old bomb, which is this huge explosion that does a ton of damage and is a big knockback. And then lots of other different types of bombs. Confusion bombs, explosion bombs, glue bombs, the works. So, unlike Deborah, who would take a left at this pass and go on directly south towards the gates of Arar, Bract's objective is a little bit different. We're going to be going to a totally different area of the Cursed Shore here as we head to Ships of the Line and go to meet the squad at Gave Bjorn's Landing. That's actually on the other side of Kaer Shadowfane and gives us an opportunity to see what's going on. So as we run through with Risen on our heels in this final map here, let's see a little bit of what this place has got to offer in terms of dialogue for us. First, there's Tactician Vrada here. I just got my message from my sister. I haven't heard from her in over a year. Good news? Good to know she's still alive, but it's funny. Our brother and I both chose Blood Legion, then Vigil. She went to the Ash Legion and Order of Whispers. We used to tease her that she took the safe route. What happened? Well, now I'm here at this packed post a few miles from the front lines with Risen just outside these walls. And she's on the enemy's side of the lines, spying on the Risen. Sometimes only 10 feet away. I guess she'll be the only one doing the teasing when this whole thing's over. Yeah, I like the thought of Bract really snarking that out as a member of the Order of Whispers himself. Here we got a scholar, Scholar Dandor. Jahern is an exceptional leader and a singular necromancer. His knowledge of the undead will serve us well in our invasion of Ur. Will serve us well. I think it already has, mate. I can see how his expertise would come in handy now, definitely. I really want to use this launch pad. Should we use it?
The R&D camp's last transmission was interrupted. Sounds like they're in trouble.
Okay, so this scholar is actually telling us about some other events on the map.
May your knowledge flourish.
Again, map events that people used to farm a lot for money and earning legendaries in those early days. We get periodic updates from the Research and Development Camp on Winternail Island, but their last update was cut short. I'm worried about them. Could you tell me more about the R&D camp? It's a research facility on Winternail Island, specializing in developing anti-risen weaponry. All right, well, maybe we can look at that, but I'm sure they're fine for now. Who else have we got? Well, the main person I want to speak to is over here, which is actually a hero challenge.
You look like you could use a fight.
Oh, I could use a fight. We can wet our knuckles here in the last map of the game. I've been traveling for months. I'm studying fighting styles, looking at how different people handle different weapons. Care to have a go? Now, I don't know how many of you guys who watch me also have played the handheld Pokemon games, alright? I'm guessing quite a lot of you, considering it's one of the largest franchises in the world. But this dialogue here reminds me a lot of when a trainer comes to give you a battle. I've been traveling, looking at different fighting styles. And then it goes, and we're in. Right? And it occurs to me that a lot of these fighting hero challenges at release were a bit like that. So anyway, I'm just going to drop bombs in his face. As a Norn at the end of the game, he's actually pretty tanky, and it will take us a while to grind through him. But I'm sure we'll be okay hiding in the safety of our explosions.
Well, that was a surprise. Great job. I'm impressed. Knowledge is the greatest treasure.
I'm impressed with you too. I hope I taught you a lot about my fighting style of dropping bombs at my feet. I do actually feel quite compelled by the idea of a Norn utilizing that. This guy says the escorts for our last supply convoy to the front haven't returned yet. They should have been back hours ago. Does that happen often? It happens occasionally, but every time I worry. Worry about what? I worry the front lines have collapsed and we're sending supplies to the enemy. That would mean we're the front lines now, and we're not prepared for that. I hope they come back soon. Don't worry, we're still pretty far north up here. All right, so a launch pad. We've seen so many of these. I think I've stepped on one or two before. Now, in theory, we shouldn't die, even though we're going to get fired in the air. Let's trust the packed in Asura technology here. Ready? Go. Oh my god, it's actually working! And here we are. Hey, check it out. We're at Winternow Shore, and we're at the research and development waypoint. So here they are having problems with tar elementals. So we can blow them up, help rid the pack camp of tar elementals, and see what's going on with this. This will actually chain into a cool event with a Drake.
That's never gonna wash out.
And up top, actually, we can see that there is a scholar and Asura hiding from the battle. What's going on?
Knowledge is the greatest treasure.
We know now why the Risen avoid this site. It's an elemental dream spot. Live and learn, I guess. So the Risen are actually avoiding this place. Huh, interesting. They seem to have avoided a couple of places within Ore. One of the other ones, of course, being the Auric Peninsula.
Someone do something.
Yes, don't worry. I see your lab. We'll fix it up. Just got to kill a couple of elementals. There's only one more around somewhere, I think. Here, so we got a ton of NPCs. Let's revive these with our elixir, like so. And once again, get S back on. Here you go. Here's the last tar. Let's take him out.
At least elementals have enough sense to retreat when they're losing. Good. Rockin has been gone for some time now. I hope he's all right.
So, what is the situation here? Well, she's a karma merchant.
Truth and knowledge are two different things.
Quiescence has become tedious. Let's perambulate and scrutinize.
I love when I'm on the verge of a breakthrough. As soon as my assistant delivers my results, I'll know for sure. Assistant? Yeah, Rockin, a resourceful little script. My experiments would have been impossible without his forays for samples. What sort of experiments? If my calculations are correct, my new concoction should conceal its wearer from the Risen. It's quite thrilling. Can I help? I don't see why not. Well, Rackham was given the potion of test near the Risen Drake nest. I can't wait to hear how he does.
I was dubious of this alliance at first.
Why?
They're military. Their minds work differently from ours.
So this actually leads to an event that lets you buy a consumable, meaning you do more damage while moving, which in previous balances in the game has actually been really good because you can move while doing so many different skills. It's just kind of like a permanent damage buff. Anyway, she's also an Orion person, caustic gauntlets and stuff, all kinds of things going on. I feel quite at home with all the Asura. It's sad. There's something about actually being out here in the middle of the battle that crushes your dreams. What were your dreams? When I left Ratasum to come here, I was hoping I could help find a way to cure our colleagues who'd become Risen. Some way to make them undead.
This is a fundamentally strange and dangerous way to test the fruits of our labor.
Ah, but we're not just testing weaponry, we're testing the enemy and our allies.
So, what happened? When I arrived, I learned that most who were already here had been harboring the same dream, but they'd all abandoned those dreams, accepting that there was no cure. And now you've given up too? I came here with a friend, Gelder, who had the same dream. We believed in it so strongly, we requested the same post together. But I lost her. He's mentioned the dream a lot. What happened? We were on sentry duty. Risen had ambushed us. Gelder saw them too late. When I went to help her, it tried to kill me. I didn't see Gelder in those eyes. At that moment, both our dreams died. Good luck. That's got a bit weirdly written, but okay, so maybe that's still something to believe in. Can you cleanse Risen? I mean, it's a bit far-fetched, isn't it? There's maybe answers in Ore. One, because Zaitan's here and there's stuff going on with that, but also the Orions were pretty good with magic. Did they have anything? It's a far shot, though.
Yes, it's noble and necessary, but this entire endeavor still strikes me as unseemly.
Our choices are victory or death, and you're worried about appearances?
I will never apologize for preferring pure research to field tests.
Hey, careful where you step, okay? I don't need you tracking that stuff all over the lab. What stuff? We get tar elementals slithering in here all the time. I tell my boss that it's going to happen if he leaves the doors wide open all day. We never had distractions like this back at the Terexics labs. I wonder if that's a place back in Ratasum. I can't say that I know for sure.
I don't like the way the Asura talk. Arrogant little please.
They do hold themselves in high esteem. Entirely justified in my view.
Rocket has been gone for some time now.
Twirling them around
by
twirling us around by our ears. I'd like to see you try, Crusader. Aren't tar elementals dangerous? Sure, they could be tough to kill, but it's even tougher trying to scrape their mucky carcasses up off the floor afterwards. They don't pay me enough to do post-infiltration janitor work. Alright, rule requires everyone make sacrifices though, dude. So you don't like me much, huh? This isn't a lab. Oh, by the way, we had like a ferocious option to do with a script there earlier. I wonder because we were in a sewer. This isn't a lab, it's a sewer.
New weapons are wasted on allies like these.
Oh? I've found them all to be extremely competent.
You are too generous.
Bad enough that we got tar elementals traipsing in here all the time like they own the place. But Merla bringing her the rat thing in here too? Who's Merla? Scholar Merla's the lead researcher here, yeah, and within earshot. She's obsessed with the undead, so all we do is try to develop new weapons or energies or concoctions to make their unpleasant existence even more unpleasant. Any luck? I'm not sure. How can you tell if your weapon is doing any damage to a corpse that's already deceased, dead, and decomposing? What rat thing are you talking about? That fidgety, malodorous, barely conversant Scrit that Merla calls her assistant, skittering around here all day. I say, if you want something done right, build a golem to do it.
Be pragmatic. Think of what we do here as enlightened brutality.
These guys love talking. There's so much dialogue here. It's actually kind of awesome. So, this area, by the way, you can actually pick up experimental weapons. I think maybe from this rack here. This crate appears to contain an assortment of abandoned experiments. We can search for weapons. There are several in the crate. Now, what's super interesting to me... First, well, I'll show you the rifle, okay? It's got the jump shot on it, which we could do anyway as an engineer, but any class can get on this map. And Shadow Bullet, which just shoots and blinds. Not that interesting, okay? The Greatsword also isn't that interesting. I guess, actually, it allows you to do an Elementalist-style lightning flash. Wow! With a cast time. Hold on, let's see this here. Oh, but it's got a chance of failure. Okay, so that one actually exploded in our face. It didn't say that on the tooltip. What else does the Greatsword do? Thrash foes around you while flinging projectiles. That's a bit like Guardian, but it blows up on us. And then lastly, the auto attack. The Greatsword's interesting. I didn't think it was. Is just to strike. But here's the really cool one. It's Staff. You guys ready for some crazy trivia that I've been looking forward to telling you the entire way through the game? Now, remember what I said about traits? That the original idea behind traits was that they would all augment your skills. So we've seen that in some traits, right? Like Necromancer could augment their scepter and stuff. But way back when they were originally designing the system, they gave us an example of how, as an Elementalist, you could have an icy field. And you could take a trait, Icy Ground on the staff. You could trait it and turn it into a totally different skill called Maelstrom. In the end, though, they removed that whole idea, changed traits, and everything was altered, blah, blah, blah. However, here in Ore, if you get this staff from this area after the Tar event is done, and you mouse over the skills, you will see we have Ice Shot, Frozen Ground, and Encase. So Encase is like the Ice Bow 5. But if you look at Frozen Ground and mouse over it, you'll see the original tooltip. And it says this: coat target area in ice, freezing foes that cross it, becomes Maelstrom if traited. So that is still referencing the super old trait thing. That's how old some of the stuff is in this game, guys, if you know where to look, right? And that's always blown my mind and I've always really loved. So this is the original version of the skill. And it wasn't, you can cast it anywhere you liked, only where you were standing. They're beautiful, like, little time capsules, and I think it's awesome. So there you go. There was one more NPC here that I did want to speak to. It's you, Agent Brianna.
Fight what cannot be fought.
Always refreshing to see a new face at Caustic Research and Development, where we strive to achieve the unachievable. So Order of Whispers, I'm here because I strive to learn the unlearnable. The research going on here could prove to be the key to turning the tide against the risen. It would be beneficial for you to learn about it. However, these researchers are very suspicious of strangers. How can I gain their trust? Well, circulate and talk to everyone you can, especially Merla, the lead researcher here. Help out where you can and listen carefully to whatever you're told, or manage to overhear. So it's kind of acting like this is a heart, when it's not actually a heart area at all, because they don't exist in Ore. But there you have it, R&D, and we had a pretty epic entrance to this as well, firing across these fields here. Let's now move on, because everyone's going to be waiting to the final instance, being Ships of the Line. Should just be around this corner. It was my plan today to do both of these instances together with you all, but there's been so much cool stuff to see in the meantime and on our way there, that even as I try and just run past and grind beyond these scary-ass Risen, we're not even in the instance yet, and we've been playing for almost an hour. So what I'll do here, right, is this is the entrance, all right? We're at this shore now, closer to Ara. That's where we're going to start. However, before I go in, we're going to head south, and Bract is going to camp out at another packed outpost that is away from the core supply lines, just down here. This is actually an important place in terms of one of the cathedrals and quite a lot of the story steps that we'll actually be dealing with around here, right? So let's grab this waypoint, seek the shelter here with Agent Tyre Bronzepelt. And yeah, this is where we'll camp out at Gravbjorn's. I think this can sometimes fall to the Risen. but it doesn't happen that often. So yeah, this is where we'll hang out. We got all these NPCs, we've got the coast there, and the end of this act with the Whispers plan.
The Pact could use your help.
If we're actually going to be able to get these risen ships into Arar, I guess we'll see on the next episode. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and Bract will see you there.